Golden Visa Group, that's what we do by the name, by definition. We do properties which are for the Golden Visa. So, having said that, I want to make sure that everyone understands there is a huge difference, and I basically said that to you, there is a big difference if you're looking for the Golden Visa or if you're looking as an investor to get just a property in Greece. Golden Visa properties, by definition, have a slightly higher margin for various reasons. We can touch them in a minute. So this specific section is discussing properties which are for the immigration process and they're not just general investments. Anybody who wants a general investment, there are better things that you can look at. Okay, so this is very important to know right from the beginning. I'm Philip, as we said. Next door, I have two of my best teammates, Sana, who's in charge of business development, and Joanna, who's in charge of the market in China. So if anybody wants to reach out to one of those two ladies for different regions, you're more than welcome to do so in booth A14, I think. This is an example of what we do. We are developers, as I said. We are not agents, so we build the properties ourselves. If anyone in the crowd here is an agent, we're very much interested in B2B contact with agents. I'd be happy if you reach out, but we are developers, so if you're buying through us as individuals, you're buying directly from the development, which of course is a huge advantage for you because we know what we're doing and there are no little people in the middle. This specific program that we're talking about is the €250 through commercial to residential conversion. This is the one exception that the Greek government has made as of August of 24. Typically, the Golden Visa in Greece now is €400,000 and €800,000 in the larger areas. And there are many other restrictions, like the size of the apartment has to be 120 square meters minimum, and it cannot be rented for short term, only for long term. The only exception the Greek government has made to lower the price is €250,000 when you do a conversion. That means that we're taking old buildings that are like a sore thumb in the eye of the city, and we're bringing them back to life. And this is something that Greece really wants to do. When you look around you here in Singapore, there are no old buildings. In Greece, there are many of those. And that's one of the perks the government allows us to reconvert these old properties that used to be factories, and we turn them into premium residences. What we do is we keep the skeleton. Everything else is new, so for all purposes, it's a total brand new building from ground up, just without the ground up. Because we are the developers again, I understand how difficult it is to buy from other places, so we are very strict about compliance. We make sure that everything is legal, otherwise you'll be paying a lot of money, you won't get your Golden Visa, and that's not the purpose. One thing is that we want to give value for market properties and not just inflated Golden Visas. What I said in the beginning, the first sentence, if you're buying just an investment, prices are lower. If you buy a Golden Visa, prices are higher. We're trying to find that middle mark. So you're buying a Golden Visa property, but you're not paying for too much of inflated prices. That was the sentence I just said. We want you to get a Golden Visa, but we also want to get a property that's worth it. So we're not just doing the Golden Visa. So we try not to do Golden Visa premiums. In other words, we're trying to get as close to the market value. The way to get close to the market value is to buy a relatively larger apartment. Now, having said that, I'm taking you back to what I said before. The exception to the Golden Visa is the €250,000 where we can buy an apartment which is not 120 square meters. In other words, theoretically, it can be 20 meters or 25 meters. And this is what a lot of developers tend to do. Cut it into small apartments because you get €250,000 for each apartment you sell. We're trying to give larger apartments so we have value, real value, which is close to the market value. Compliance, of course, like I said, is one of the most important things. The worst thing that can happen to you as an investor is if you buy the Golden Visa apartment with us or with someone else, something goes wrong along the process, the visa is cancelled, you lose the property, you lose the visa, so it has to be 100% right. We don't have although we have our lawyers in the team, we will provide you with names of external lawyers, so it's all clear that we're not, you do the DD on us. You have to do due diligence, make sure that what we're offering is true, and not rely on what we're doing. So we will help you through the compliance, but you will use external lawyers. One thing that we'll touch on a bit is the location. We develop in Patras. Patras is the third largest city in Greece. Everyone knows Athens. Some people know Saloniki. Nobody knows Patras. And that is the reason that we've gone to Patras, because it is the third largest city. I'll talk about it in a bit because it is the center of what we do. But it's the place that will give value. And I'm talking about this, and I'll say it again and again. We try not to sell only the golden visa, but we try to sell the property with value plus a golden visa, so you get both together. So, now let's go back to the basics. What is the golden visa? Some of you have seen before, there was a guy speaking here before me, so I'll do it briefly so we don't have to go back to it again. Mostly it is the visa-free travel around Europe. So if you live in Greece, you can travel freely in all of the European countries. Access to health and education. One of the rules, in order to get the golden visa, you need to have a health insurance. But this health insurance is from a local provider in Greece, really cheap, and that will give health access to all of the public hospitals in Greece. Same goes to education. I told you about it. Once you have the golden visa, you can apply to any of the local universities as a Greek person. Investment opportunity, that's one of the things that you can do, which is a business, the idea of the business. They have changed the rules. Greek people love changing rules. It's something that they do without any notification, so there is some risk with that. Until April 22 of this year, you could open a business and you could be the manager of your own business, you could do whatever you want. That has changed in a sense that you can no longer, as a golden visa, be the manager, but you are entitled to open your own business. So you can open the business, have someone within the Greek system who is the manager of the business, and basically work and make money in Greece. You cannot be an employee. That's one thing that people need to remember. You don't have access to the market to work in Greece, but you can have access to open your own business in Greece. Anybody who wants to come into work, that will take another step, and we'll have to look with other lawyers and see how we can work around it. But the general rule of the golden visa is that it doesn't give you access to work in the market, but you can have your own business. And the one special thing about the Greek golden visa compared to Dubai, for example, or other ones, is it does have a pathway to citizenship. So for the first 5 years, you have your permanent residency. You can extend it for another 5 years as long as you hold the property. There is no minimum stay required to maintain the PR. You can stay for 1 day, you can stay for 0 days, as long as you're there, as long as you have the golden visa, that's all you need to do. If you want to turn, and if your idea is eventually to become a Greek citizen and you get a Greek passport, that's something you need to think about from the beginning and plan for it from the beginning. If you want to change it after 7 years, you can become a Greek citizenship, but the condition is you need to stay in Greece for 183 days per year, not accumulatively, but not in one stretch. So if that is your goal, that's definitely something that needs to be planned ahead, because otherwise you will lose the right. But it is an option, and that's a good thing. So what is the best options in Greece for 250,000? I said that before, I'm going to repeat it. The rules have changed from August 24. You can buy only something which has been converted, and this is the only thing we focus on, and that's the last time. I'm not going to repeat because I said it. We focus strictly on these projects. If any one of you wants the standard golden visa, which is 400,000 in most of the cities and 800,000 in Athens, Saloniki, and any one of the Greek islands, you're welcome to reach out. We do have options like that, but the core business of our company is the development of properties which are on the lower end, 250. One of the next projects that we're going to be doing is student housing in, again, the city of Patras. It's going to be 150 units, and it's basically going to be a student campus. But it's going to be a nice one. We'll talk about that a little bit later. This is the application process. I mentioned to you before our private conversation that Greeks love bureaucracy. It's not an easy thing to go through the red tape in Greece. But having said that, specifically for the golden visa, because it's a government project and because it's so structured and everyone knows exactly what it is, actually it's one of the most simple processes that you can find. Although everything else is complicated, all the complication actually falls on our shoulders. So once our property is eligible for the golden visa, that means that all the hardship is being passed. You cannot imagine what it takes us as developers to go through to make sure that the Greek government will authorize the project. But once it's done, from here it's quite an easy ride. You need to choose your property is the first thing, decide which is the property, because the golden visa, like I said, is built per property. So you choose the property you want to, you sign a POA, which is a power of attorney with a Greek lawyer, which allows the Greek lawyer on your behalf to do everything. The only one time you'll have to come to Greece is to give biometrics, because that's a requirement. The power of attorney will allow the Greek lawyer to do everything. Again, remember that the power of attorney that you give to the lawyer, the first thing the lawyer has to do is due diligence to make sure that what we are selling is eligible for the golden visa. So that's one of the first things they need to do. The next step is transfer the full purchase amount. This is the second rule that has to be done in order to apply for the golden visa. We as developers have to show proof that the full amount has been received in our bank account. That goes into the notarial contract with the declaration of the bank. Now, a lot of people are hesitant in transferring the full amount, especially when the project is not finalized. And I'll make a pause here. I'll talk about one other thing. By the rules of the golden visa, you can apply for the golden visa even if the apartment is not finished. In other words, as long as there is an electronic ID, so it's divided on paper in the Greek cadastral system, it appears as a separate individual unit, you can apply for the golden visa even if the apartment is not completed. We have people doing that. That raises the question, if the apartment is not completed, what is my security? So I'm transferring the full amount, but I've got an apartment on paper, but it's not completed yet. So, of course, we understand that. Nobody has to give the full amount, but you need to know that before you give the full amount, you cannot apply for the golden visa. So, if anyone is hesitant, we as developers, we're fine with taking the deposit or down payment, completing it in stages, because we've got ongoing projects all the time. But once you want to go for the golden visa, and once the property is eligible for the golden visa, even if it's not completed, you would be required to transfer the full amount. Once the full amount is done, we go back to the power of attorney, the lawyer takes the submission, the paperwork from you, which are very basic. It's basically, I think all you need is passport. All you need is a passport. Make sure the money has come from your bank account, and then the lawyer will submit the golden visa application. You get the white paper a couple of months later, depending on where it's applied and what the backlog of the system is. You will get the golden visa. Last stage, you get this temporary residence. A few months later, it's all done. Greek real estate market in general, maybe this should have been the first one that I started talking about us, but now I'll talk about Greece. It is the most amazing country in the world to live in, sorry for all the people in Singapore here. I moved to Greece myself. I've been in Greece since my 20s. I've been there for ongoing 40 years, in and out, in every single corner of Greece. I think it's one of the most amazing countries to live in for various reasons. It has been chosen as the best country to retire in. So I'm sure there are other reports who say different things, but I believe it as I live there. the market for real estate is still a good opportunity. So we had the major crisis in 2013. Prices have dramatically increased since that time, but there is still some, relative to other places, prices are cheap. So buying, if you buy good and if you buy at a fair price, I believe that there's still a lot of place to go for, you know, for property prices. So both for the real estate side of it and for the lifestyle side of it, yeah, Greece is a great option. We build in Patras. Everyone in Greece knows Athens, some people know Saloniki. Patras is the third largest city, and in my opinion, that's a place that you should be investing, because if you want to make money, if you want to make your real estate investment worthwhile, sometimes it's better to go to second-tier places. Athens is quite overpriced. Not saying anything bad about anyone else who's building in Athens, but it is, prices have peaked in Athens. Patras is a developing city. It's a huge city. It's a big port, but it still has a lot of place to go. So if you're buying in one of our things in Patras, I believe that it will be quite a good opportunity for everyone. It's just another one. I love visuals. My wife is an artist, so there'll be a lot of visuals on this one. Why Patras? Mostly infrastructure. So when you're looking for a city which is developing, what you want to look for is where the government is investing money. So if they're doing new pavements, if they're doing new storage, if they're renewing internet lines, if there are any major projects going on. This is what you're looking for as somebody who's looking into real estate. Patras has got 3 huge projects of infrastructure which are happening over these years. Major highway, which is called the Patras-Pyrgos Highway, is the one which is connecting the airport to Patras. So new highways always means easier access means more people are coming. In Greece, there are a lot of smaller airports. It's not like there are many international airports. I live in a place called Lefkada. Lefkada's got a small airport in Pervisa, which in the summer acts as an international airport. In the winter, it's closed. But the airport in the summer brings in tourism from Europe. This is what's happening in Patras so far. The airport, the IREX airport, has been a really, really small airport. It is being privatized now, and an airport which is opening up and making easier access, again, is always a big game changer. The last thing, Greece is huge on coastlines. People love yachts. They're building one of the biggest marinas in the whole of the area for private yachts. These are game changers. These are things that bring property prices tremendously upwards. I'm not going to spend too much time about it because the presentation, anybody wants can get it. There are links at the bottom to look at it and what these projects are. But again, just showing the highway connecting, Patras to the rest of the mainland. Here is a new airport which is coming up. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time discussing. It's just to see. And one of the biggest things for the mega yachts. These 3 things are the things that are going to make sure that the property that you buy is not only the golden visa, it's not only a place to live in, it's also something that's going to increase in price. Greece in general, again, visuals. We love visuals. Don't worry. Give me 2 more minutes. This is Patras. This is the city of Patras. The one thing about Patras I mentioned before, it's a major student hub. We have a lot of students, 30,000 students every year coming into Patras. That's huge. Students need places to live. They like new places. There are very few modern housings that are built in Patras. Again, Greece is quite backwards. That ensures that anything that we're buying, we can easily rent, we can easily manage, we can easily make sure that you've got a golden visa, and we have something that will give you also a return. One last visual, I'll leave you with this, and then I'll leave the stage for the next guys. I think I'll leave it like that, so you can just enjoy the view. Thank you so much for everyone.